What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And today I would like to talk to you about a few different reasons I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild might not be as great as everyone's expecting it to be. But first off, let me say that I'm not doing this because I hate Zelda or I hate Nintendo or anything like that. I'm doing this because I am a Nintendo fan. Obviously, look what's behind me. There's my Master Shield and my sword. I am as hyped about this game as I possibly could be, and that's the problem. My expectations are way too high, so I figured if I put together this little list for me and for you, maybe we could lower expectations to a little more reasonable of a level, and we'll enjoy the game all that much more when it arrives on March the 3rd. The first thing that I want to point out is the people who have played the demo have come out and said that the demo is actually very uninteresting. Now, to be fair, the reports that you get about this demo is fairly similar to the reports that you'll get just about any other demo. Those demos are not designed to show big plot points or key points or anything like that. They're designed to show off the mechanics of the game, and that's definitely what they're doing with Breath of the Wild. They show you how Link can use his shield to slide around and how he can combine stuff and how he can wander the field, and they give you an idea of the size of the world without really giving anything important to the story away. But when you really start delving into articles like the one pictured here by Laura, you'll see that there are a lot of things that people will complain about, such as a very limiting stamina meter or a fairly empty, vast world where you're, instead of just doing interesting things, you're looking for interesting things to do that are far and few between. But here's the thing, this is just a demo, and a demo does not always represent the finished product as a whole, though most of the time you will pick some of the best parts of your game for the demo to try to represent the final product, and this is what Nintendo has chosen to represent the game. If you're hyped for Legend of Zelda and you're expecting the game to be great, you really should search here on YouTube for someone playing through this demo, one of your favorite YouTubers. That way you get a better idea of what to expect. If this is what Nintendo thinks represents the game, then it probably very well does. Now, my second concern is that it is entirely possible that this game is actually able to be beaten in a very short period of time. Most notably, Gerard the Completionist did upload a video titled Breath of the Wild is beatable in 15 minutes. But now if you watch this interview, that's clearly a bit of a clickbaity title, an exaggeration of the truth that comes out during the interview. The developers of the game say during this interview that right from the get-go, you can face off against the final boss. The problem is, chances are Link is just going to get his ass beat. The developers go on to explain that you get to determine when you decide to fight the final boss. You might go out for a few hours, or for a few days, or a few weeks, level up Link, make him more powerful, get more items that you can use against the final boss, or it's entirely possible, as they said in the interview, you might be able to beat this game in just one day. Now, when I think of Legend of Zelda, I think of temple to temple using items that you get from previous temples to explore future temples. I think of a very linear game, and that seems to not be the case for this game. Based on this one interview, it is entirely possible that the game is much more open-ended and much more explorable and much more discoverable than you'd anticipated, but that also means you could miss some amount of content. It also means you might beat the game long before they expected you to. You may not get the longevity out of this game that we were all hoping for. Now, fortunately, the developers did say in another interview that there is definitely a story there, just simply that you can skip the story and go directly to the boss. But if you still want a very interesting, very good story steeped in Legend of Zelda lore, it's definitely there for those who want to find it. And thirdly, that is one of my biggest concerns, is that this is meant to be an open world explorable sandbox game. And sometimes that can be done very, very well, but a lot of the times sandbox games just kind of suck. These expansive open worlds can feel very, very empty sometimes. They can feel very generic. They can feel like people have just been cutting and pasting things or reusing assets from previous games. A lot of the times it's a big world to explore with just nothing to do in it. Now, the good news here is that Nintendo is the king of detail, and with an almost 5-year development cycle for this game, maybe a little bit longer, they have certainly probably put an incredible amount of detail in this game, making it feel like a very living, breathing world, and I hope for that, I really do. But the problem is, this is one of the very first open-ended games like this that Nintendo has ever attempted to do, and especially on this kind of scale, so the chances of them getting it right the first time in bat is very, very slim. Still, we can hope for the best. And that's pretty much my overall concerns for the game. I realize that the developers have created it to be non-linear, but because it's non-linear, I feel like some of the content that I'm used to when I think of Legend of Zelda, especially that epic story, may not be the forefront of the game. It may take a backseat to the fact that it's open world and sandboxy, and if that's not done absolutely correctly, then there's just not a lot left on the table for people to enjoy. But that's the thing here, is that I think even if everything I've said or worried about in this video turns out to be 100% accurate, I think we'll still have a very, very good game on our hands. Maybe not the extra special, super fantastic second coming of Nintendo that we've all been expecting, but a very good game. And if you're not expecting that incredible game, but are expecting a good one instead, your chances of enjoying it become that much greater. Because that's the point of this video, by the way. It's not to destroy your hype or to make the game look bad or make Nintendo look bad. It's just to help lower your expectations to a reasonable level. That way, when the game is finally in your hands, you can enjoy it for the good game that it is likely to be, even if it doesn't match the super incredible wonder game that you imagined it to be, because that's what the developers told you to imagine in order to increase hype. And while I'll admit it's entirely possible that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild may end up sucking, my money is on the fact that it'll be at least an above-average game with some frustrating mechanics, but a very interesting world to explore with a very interesting story and a pretty decent boss fight at that. And that's my expectations for the game, and I hope that's your expectations now too. Because I am just one man and I could be wrong, but you are many, so let me know in the comments section below whether or not you're expecting this game to be good or bad. Have you seen any evidence to the contrary to the things I've said here today? Or do you see things that actually show that I might be right? I would love to know what your opinion is, because your opinion is certainly as valid as mine. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. And hey, Nintendo, I wanted to let you know I hope that I'm wrong here. If this game gets a 98 at Metacritic, if it gets a 10.0 user score, I couldn't be happier. I love being wrong. Guys, thanks for watching.